Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School's elementary department students learn to contribute their love in Children's Day. Argentina Tzu Chi volunteers travel far to the forest fire scene to conduct disaster survey, planning to offer help in the future. 歡迎收睇答案 Headlines， 我係 Ruby， 我哋一齊嚟睇下今日嘅內容。In Tainan, Tzu Chi Senior High School's elementary department celebrated Children's Day in a special way. Students donated their pocket money or food to help the disadvantaged. Through this loving and sharing activity, they can learn to contribute their love in daily life. Students tried their best to perform at the school foyer, which has become a talent stage today.
Today's activities are combined with courses and hosted in the school foyer. Students usually have only 10 minutes to go there after class. This time they're allocated 30 minutes or more, so they can also do treasure hunt in the entire foyer.
To celebrate Children's Day in advance, the school has cooperated with the food bank. Students called to donate snacks and food, contributing their love.
I hope everyone will not waste food anymore in the future. When there are activities, everyone can respond together.
Every child can cherish his own happiness and peace, and at the same time they can help others in need.
And there are astronomy and English-related fun games.
Organizing games in Children's Day and also help us review our studies.
On this side, there is also a street performer to let students experience the mystery of science by playing bubbles. Teachers and students' mindful planning allows the students in Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School to learn and help others in Children's Day. Another school in Kaohsiung celebrated Children's Day with a book titled I Am a Child, I Have Something to Say, which explains the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, allowing children to understand their rights through pictures and vivid videos. Children should be vigilant when strangers approach or crossing their body boundaries.
When the Go teacher hugged Wei Wei, was he brave enough to push the teacher away and say, "No, you can't touch my body"?
In the picture book, the child Wei Wei encountered a situation as his teacher was too close to him. What should he do?
Children will feel very vague about their body boundaries. Through the story, children can understand how to strike a balance in their boundaries and protect themselves. I think this is very important.
In the past, when mom and dad got lower scores in their academic results, they would get beaten. It should be painful, even stressed when getting hit. Sometimes it's very frustrating. The more you get hit, the worse you will score on the exams, and finally, you will lose the passion for learning.
Domestic violence and bullying harm children and adolescents and seriously affects parent-child relationships.
Through picture books and learning worksheets, I hope to inspire them to think about the rights they possess and how they should protect about themselves. By building a friendly campus without bullying, it is hoped that children won't encounter bullies anymore and can all grow up in a friendly and happy environment.
The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child protects children's right to education, expression, participation, equality, privacy, and protection, and is actively practiced in schools.
On Children's Day, we will spend a full 10 days for children's right to education.
In the education plan, any issues related to anti-bullying, protection of children's rights, and sexual equality will all be included.
Kids also have the right to speak too. With big hands covering small hands, let's protect our children together. In New Taipei City, more than 420 SID and senior volunteers gathered at Shuanghe Jinxi Hall to rehearse Tzu Chi adaptations, hoping to perform well in the Tzu Chi's 55th anniversary.
The Buddha is at the vulture peak. The vulture peak is simply in our hearts.
Starting from last year, we have held some study groups so people can learn about the Buddha Dharma. From their faces, you can tell that they are filled with Dharma joy.
Participating in the sutra adaptation will enhance our wisdom. We can learn about the teachings in the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings in Lotus Sutra.
To rehearse the sutra adaptation, more than 420 on-stage seat volunteers have gathered at Shuanghe Jingsi Hall. Many senior volunteers have carried out Tzu Chi's work since their youth, practicing the Dharma diligently.
愿意这样是来自于我们内心对法的恭敬，对上人的恭敬。
Our willingness to participate comes from our respect for Buddha Dharma, the Master and the Buddha. Many volunteers are elderly. For instance, I'm more than 80 years old. Of course, it is tiring, but everyone practices non-stop when they have time.
If I'm 65, 70, or even 80 years old, will I be able to carry out the work like them? I think they are doing their best in rehearsals, so I will think of a way to accompany them.
In Buddhism, there are 4 principles that attract people to learn the Dharma. They include attraction, gathering, pleasing words, and meaningful conduct. As these volunteers gather for rehearsals, they're also determined to spread the Dharma teaching through sutra adaptations.
In China, a deputy general manager of a company is a Tzu Chi volunteer who has been promoting vegetarian Fridays at the company during lunch. Many employees respond to the event enthusiastically. Some even change their eating habits and spread vegetarianism to their families.
The workers crank their neck to check out the vegetarian menu for this week. What are we having?
Some of the workers responded that they look forward to this meal on Friday the most. So I've been thinking if perhaps we can increase this to 2 to 3 times a week and maybe even encourage them to adopt this diet at home.
After the spread of the COVID pandemic, Li Dongkai began promoting vegetarianism at his work and was surprised at the enthusiastic response. Not only the employees were willing to help make the dishes, but this change has opened up the chef's eyes as well.
My past view on vegetarian dishes is that it's just leafy greens and turnips. But now, I know there's so much more, such as mushrooms, bamboos, and tofu.
There are also seminars held to share how to actualize environmental protection and meatless diets, which are not hard at all.
I've been eating vegetarian food for about a year now, and it feels pretty good because the greens have less cholesterol, so it has benefited my health.
This vegetarian campaign has brought a wave of being green to the company.
There is a vegetarian market in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. It is arisen from an old food stall that turned vegetarian 2 years ago. The store owner invents different vegetarian dishes so as to attract young people to adopt a vegetarian diet. She also invited other restaurant owners to join in to promote vegetarianism.
After frying the Taiwanese churros, she covers them with colorful spices.
Can I put them in this container? Bringing my own box, I can cut down on waste. Plastic bags do not biodegrade. We tried to bring our own containers.
It is trendy to consume vegetarian snacks while cutting down on plastics. What other food is there? The duck is a pet rather than food. The chef is serving unique food with truffle tartar sauce, which is delicious.
Many people do not know this is a meatless market. After they eat the food, they discover it is vegetarian and is able to accept the taste of it. My instant noodles are different from other people because I use spices such as Mexican chili powder and Cajun spice to flavor.
The pedestrians are attracted by the aroma. This is named pearl roll with fillings, rather than the original Taiwanese sausage with sticky rice.
If I call it Taiwanese sausage with sticky rice, it will not be special. I want to give it a special name so I can attract young people to try vegetarian food.
The vegetarian burger uses smashed taro. The stall owner used up all the salty egg yolks soon.
I invited everyone to come here so that our community residents can learn about this. Although we do not know each other, after talking with them, they agreed right away. She studies diligently and develops different cuisine for young people. We support her.
The second-generation owner of a vegetarian restaurant has been serving afternoon tea and dinner. They brainstorm and come up with new dishes and invite other restaurant owners to join their ranks, hoping to promote the benefits of vegetarianism.
In March, south-central Argentina experienced forest fire which destroyed over 2,000 hectares of land. Local Tzu Chi volunteers drove 1,800 kilometers to conduct disaster survey and found that not only the locals are in need of help, but also the fire department is seriously lacking rescue equipment. If you didn't go there, if you didn't see the scope of the disaster, you cannot truly understand what the victims are feeling right now. In a span of a few hours, everything they worked for went up in smoke.
With firefighters as their guide, Tzu Chi volunteers were able to enter the scene of the fire and see how it destroyed the trees, homes, and even a car that did not escape the wrath, as the owner didn't have time to move it since he was busy fighting the fire.
The firefighter said, "The car was destroyed. There's nothing I can do about that. My problem is that my wife doesn't know about it yet." I felt he was using such a relaxed, humorous tone about the situation, but it was still weighing heavily on my mind.
In March, central Argentina experienced a bout of forest fire, which destroyed over 2,000 hectares of land. Although there are aid supplies that have reached the area, lacking organization, things are still just sitting there. The homeless people ended up building a simple covering out of the wood they chopped, on top of which the local firefighters are also in need of equipment.
They don't have financial assistance. The government doesn't help them in this, so they are thankful they have their uniform still. The fire brigade vehicles are put together using old cars from 1976 or 1971. It's really difficult.
7 Tzu Chi volunteers travel from the capital of Argentina to reach El Bolzon, Rio Negro. They traveled a total of 1,800 kilometers, which took about 25 hours, just to survey the disaster and have a meeting with the local Rotary Club and volunteers, expressing their condolences and care in hopes of connecting and offering support for the future.
In Korea, there is a 71-year-old Mr. Lin who had a stroke 3 years ago. Although he is still alive, he suffers mobility issues, headaches, and dizziness. So the volunteers help him deliver food and collect medication every month. Volunteers set off in the wind and rain to Yangon, which is 200 kilometers away from Seoul. Solitary senior, Mr. Lin, is staying at a 16 square meter suite and waiting for volunteers. He had a stroke the year before and is inconvenienced to move around. He also suffers from headache. His neighbor is a Tzu Chi member and especially reported Mr. Lin's case to Tzu Chi, hoping that he is able to receive some help.
After taking that medicine, I feel more dizzy.
근데 그거 하루 이틀만, 하루 두 번만 먹는 약인데 계속 많이 먹으면 안 돼요.
Without family care, it is not only difficult for Mr. Lin to prepare his own 3 meals, but also a big problem for him to get medication from the hospital. Volunteers specially went to the hospital to get the medication for him.
Because he has mobility issues, we come to get medication for him.
Volunteers not only send medication to Mr. Lin, but also daily necessities.
이거는 이제 금방 드셔도 한꺼번에 다 드시지 말고 이거는 그거예요. 초코파이.
The whole box of food can be consumed after soaking in hot water, which is convenient and nutritious, so that Mr. Lin can rest assured at home. Tzu Chi's Home Improvement Project continues with the help of neighborhood chiefs who identify disadvantaged elders in the area. In Changhua City's central neighborhood, many elderly live alone and are in desperate need of care.
Volunteers took the initiative in the Tzu Chi Home Improvement Project, going to the remote Sanchun neighborhood in Changhua City, where many elderly lived alone.
Will the hammer be too low? Because you pull it up and straighten with your hands with more force.
Installing handrails in the bathroom is a key task. Volunteers are already very experienced and quickly set a height suitable for elders.
Thanks for helping me install this. I previously stood up by grabbing the wall here.
When after another handrails are installed, this family also made volunteers very concerned, as Mr. Tzu is 60 years old and living alone. He fell on the second floor due to a stroke. Volunteers think it is not suitable for him to go up and down the stairs, so they helped him set up a living space in the room downstairs.
We helped him tidy up a room downstairs. We help him prepare a double bed. Being downstairs means his range of motion can be more comfortable.
It's all dusty, so I wipe it clean. Mr. Tzu is also very satisfied and very happy with our work.
The bathroom is also affixed with non-slip stickers and handrails are installed. In addition to improving safety at homes, volunteers also encourage Mr. Tzu to rehabilitate. In the future, they will continue to accompany and love him.
In Taiwan, Central Region team members head to the mountainous regions in Tainan Township to host free regular clinic. Besides providing medical care, they also provide spiritual comfort to the seniors. Let's take a look.
Passing through the windy mountain roads, team members arrive at Mr. Shi's home in Zhuolan Township. As doctors help pat his phlegm and test his blood glucose, Mr. Xu, who was frowning, finally had a smile on his face. Mr. Xu is 77 years old this year. His wife suffers from dementia and is staying in a nursing home, while his son has already passed away. Team members provide house calls to each household. 80-year-old Mr. Deng can only lie in bed after suffering from a stroke. Besides providing medical care, team members also provide spiritual comfort. As Mr. Deng's younger sister is heartbroken to see her brother suffer, she broke into tears. Besides regular house calls, the free medical clinic has also never stopped. For this dentist who participated for the first time, he was truly touched.
I hope that in the future, there will still be opportunities to come up to the mountains and serve the seniors here.
For this couple, it is their first time participating in the free clinic. Both of them are hairstylists as they use their profession to serve the seniors.
I am very happy to be able to participate in this event. There's no other intentions.
In the future, if there are activities like this, I am very willing to participate again.
Serving without asking for anything in return, this pure thought and spirit is always the most touching.
Owing to the pandemic, many foreign hospital caregivers and domestic helpers are stopped from entering Taiwan, resulting in employers having to pay more than the market price to hire them. The unfavorable conditions in Taiwan also deter migrant workers from coming, leading many to worry that the gap between Taiwan's labor supply and demand will become increasingly serious.
It is the duty of many foreign care workers to do various duties for the elderly, though they actually get a salary of less than $600 on average. But in the past year, many foreign care workers know how to fight for their rights.
Now, our costs are higher than before. All new workers require their salary to increase by $60 or $90, or they won't even go to the interview. Before, they'll go to an interview and discuss the salary with the employer. Now, this is not the case anymore.
Because of the lack of workers due to the pandemic, employers have no choice but to foot the bill silently. Taiwan's laws and regulations have no restrictions allowing foreign workers to choose employers and change bosses freely at any time.
As soon as the pandemic was reported in Indonesia or Vietnam, all the foreign workers in Taiwan knew that they would become a very rare commodity because the Taiwanese still need their service.
This phenomenon exacerbated the lack of care workers and domestic helpers in Taiwan. A pair of twin sons who are about to turn 3 years old are lively and lovely. Mr. Lee and his wife are both office workers. In order to accompany the children as they grow, both had to ask for leave without pay. Due to practical considerations, they have looked for a foreign domestic helper. However, after their foreign domestic helper returned to her home in August last year, the pandemic prevented her from coming back to Taiwan.
There should be a lot of people in line waiting for caregivers, and we also thought about using foreign domestic helpers. But it is now impossible for these foreign domestic helpers to come in because of the epidemic, and we can't wait for them to be accepted in Taiwan, which is very troublesome right now.
As a result, Mrs. Lee continued to ask for leave. At a moment of deep suffering, some people recommend that they be better off using illegal channels to find workers who ran away from contracts.
Of course, we did not consider the black market, but if one worker runs away today, they'll probably do it to the next employer. So we did not consider the black market. If he is a Taiwanese helper, then you want a Taiwanese citizen for 24 hours a day. It's beyond what an average family can afford.
The worries of this couple are shared by others. Since mid-July this year, the Indonesian government has implemented a zero-payment policy for migrant workers. That is, 10 types of labor, such as nursing, babysitting, and housework, are exported overseas without having to bear any costs. All costs, including round-trip airfare, work visas, passport fees, overseas social insurance, and other 12 detailed regulations amounting to between $1,200 to $2,000 are all transferred to the employer.
Some people come first as a caregiver and then transfer to a factory. These expenses are passed on to the employer. In fact, it is very unfair to the employer. The employer in Taiwan is very similar to us, and there is no guarantee. We cannot restrict them from being transferred. Then after turning over, we are again waiting for the next person to come, and we have to pay a training fee.
At this time, who should seek compensation for this money? There's always no relevant regulations for this. It's not only our employers worried, but this can create more illegal workers.
Because all the industries are short of workers, the illegal market for underground workers will flourish. Today, if a worker is a caregiver, the salary per month is $500 and the overtime pay on holidays is $15. And if there is no holiday for 4 weeks in the month, the health insurance fee will then be deducted in that month. It will only be more than $600. But if he runs away from a month for $600 to $900, how can this situation be improved?
Higher wages in the illegal market attract legal workers to flee, and it is one of the means by which the illegal labor market attracts foreign workers to flee.
Today, foreign workers are not enough in the country of origin. Our salary is not a big incentive because the salary in Japan and South Korea are much higher than us. For foreign workers to come to Taiwan, foreign agencies have to wait about 3 to 6 months. But if they go to Singapore and Hong Kong, it just takes a month or two and they can earn money right away.
Taiwan does not want to rely too much on foreign workers, with the number of domestic caregivers not increasing because of low salaries. This is a predicament that many are facing. To reverse the decline, the Ministry of Health and Welfare announced in May 2018 that the monthly salary for home care attendants was $1,060, but this figure still does not attract people. Perhaps with the help of science and technology, along with improving the social status of caregivers, can we begin to help families in need who are currently in the unfortunate situation of being taken advantage of.
Six girl students from Kaohsiung Guochang Junior High School beautified a toilet in their school with colorful paintings, converting it into the most unique area. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and see you next time.